Hello, thanks for joining me today because I'm in the kitchen waiting for you here to join me on another fabulous Thursday with Annette. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. So we're going into book one today. It's the good old first baby of mine, and I'm making a really fantastic mince recipe because I think with money these days, if we can do cheap meals, it's going to be better. Now, I'm actually making two recipes. I'm making the bolognese first, and then I'm going to finish it off and make it the beef Italian because you need to make that sauce and then you add that to go with it. Now, it serves 6, but it's also in the more cooking for 2, and I actually make the complete recipe with the sauce and the vegetables in it, and it serves 2. So you've got that option as well. So let's look at the ingredients we need first. Now, I've already cooked the mince off because you know how to cook mince and we've got a lot to do, so I want to get it done. So that was 500 grams of really lean beef mix. I just sprayed with the rice bran spray in the wok and cooked it off, and you add that in later. The other thing that I preempted was the pasta, and it's 3 cups of cooked pasta. Now I've used the macaroni noodles because I really like the macaroni in this recipe, and so that needs to be done first before you go anywhere. Now we're going to make the sauce and then we're going to do the vegetables, okay? So what we need for the sauce is we need, it says in the recipe, tomato puree in a can, 410. Really hard to buy, especially for the or the no added salt version, but I found this instead, and it's the passata. Now the passata is the same thing as tomato puree, and if you look at the sodium content, it's very low, so I'm really happy with this, but it says 410. So I actually, just before we came on, I weighed it so you could know then how much it is in measurement. So write this down. So instead of 410 grams, you could do what I did and just, weigh it on the scales, but it's 1.5 cups. So it goes to 1.5 cups of the passata is equal to that can. So you just write that in your recipe so you know. We're also going to use some beef stock powder, a small onion, so I won't use all this onion because it's more of a medium onion. I've got a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of garlic, a cup of water. Now also with the tomato paste, it's 1/4 cup or 70 grams. So I'm just going to measure that into my cup so that you can see, but 70 grams if you want to weigh it. A bit of pepper. So that's the sauce, and we put the mince back in later. Then the vegetables that go in, because now we're over to the beef Italian recipe, you're going to do mushrooms, capsicum, zucchini, broccoli, and tomato. Boom. That's how it is. And you microwave the vegetables, so it's really quick and easy. So a small onion, I think I'll probably just use that much. Take out that little bit in the middle, that's not so fabulous. And we just want to dice it. Thanks for joining me today. I think you'll find this is a fun little recipe, and mince I find such a great way to cook really healthy, hearty meals at this time of the year. So there's the onion done. So let's do the sauce. So first of all, I'm going to put in the onion. I might spray it. Basically, you put all of it in. So let's throw in the onion. It's another really easy recipe, so don't panic. It's super, super easy to do. Because that's the theme for this year, remember, easy peasy. Now I'm doing the crushed garlic. If you want to do fresh garlic, by all means do it. So let's toss that. And I'm using the wok because I just find this so useful. You don't have to, when I say a saucepan, most of the time you can still use the wok if you have it. So that way it's getting used a lot. Now we're going to put in the water. Let's put in the herbs and the stock powder. So we want a teaspoon of each. It's a great little Italian recipe. I love Italian food. There we go. I just think it's always got such good flavour. Now we're going to put in the 1.5 cups of the tomato puree, remember, or if you can be lucky enough to find a can, well, good on you. Just mix that up. So we've done with that and that. I've also got to do the tomato paste, so let's measure that out. So it's 1/4 cup. If you wanted to make it easy, you can always just weigh it. 70 grams. There we go. That goes in. Now while this sauce, you cook this sauce for 5 minutes. So we want to develop it. There we go. Mix that in. Now while that's cooking, and I'm going to put the timer on, we cook it for 5 minutes. Let me do it now. There we go. I'm going to do the vegetables because we like to multitask here, don't we? All right, so let's clear this. All right. Just stir that occasionally, but that will just simmer away nicely there. Might turn that down a little bit. All right. All right, now let's get the veggies. A little bit of pepper while I'm here. Perfect. So now I've just got to chop up these. Now I'm going to do the tomato first because you don't actually put that in the microwave. So I'm actually going to do that first, and I'm going to put it in a bowl. I measure, it's 1 cup actually, so I've got my cup here. And I'm just going to dice the tomato. Turn that down to a bit of a simmer. And that will just reduce it down and give the tomato sauce more depth of flavour. Just small diced tomato. If you've got some like really overripe tomatoes, perfect time to make this recipe. Absolutely. Now I want a cup, so let's see how we're going. Right, so probably only need that much. So that'll go in at the end. That looks pretty good. All right, so we'll just leave that over here. And I think, don't I add that in when the mince goes in? Let me just check. So no, I just put that just with the vegetables. Good. All right. There's the rubbish. Just want to wash my hands. Okay. So now here's my microwave dish. So let's put all the veggies in. So we do 1 large red capsicum. I'm doing red because you've got enough green with the broccoli and the zucchini. So it's all about, we do eat with our eyes, don't we? Take the seeds out. Now you don't want to do it too big a pieces because you want to be able to get it on your spoon or your fork, however you're going to eat your beef Italian. I tend to love a salad with it on the side as well, but because it's got so many vegetables in it, you could just eat it and that could do you. So let's dice up the capsicum. Where'd that bit go? Get back here. Now, this does have 2 cups of mushrooms in it. If you're not a big fan of mushrooms, I love the mushrooms in this recipe, but you could replace it with maybe a cup of celery. As you can see, I've perfected the neatness of chopping. All right, there we go. In we go. let's do the zucchini, 2 small zucchini. I don't know if these are small, but that's the smallest I could get. So I might just actually just take that off because otherwise it'll be too much. Sliced zucchini. I tend to put that on top. I'm putting that on top of the capsicum because it cooks so quickly, doesn't it? That I don't want it to be just all mush. I want a cup of broccoli. Let me get another cup. And we're just going to make that into, oh, hello. Thank you. Oh, stop. Let's put the mince in. Here we go. See, we're doing all the different things here, but it's all going to be fabulous. It's not hard, so I'm just going to leave that now for another 5 minutes. I mean, the vegetables will be done close to the same time. So you just want small florets. You don't want big pieces. Just little pieces. So florets is what they call the flowering of the broccoli. There we go. That goes in. Oh look, I've got that one. I've got one here. I'm lashing out, I'm putting it in. Okay, now all we have to do is the mushrooms, and we want 2 cups. Let me just get another cup measure. Lucky me, I have so many cup measures, as you can imagine. All right, now if they're really big mushrooms, just slice them in half, like I just did. Couldn't get really small ones, but if you get small ones, it's actually better. Might turn it up a bit. So we've done the zucchini, we've done the broccoli, capsicum, the onions in the sauce, so you don't have to have it in the in this part. Let's have a look. Yep, and 2 cups of mushrooms. I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Here we go. And I'm going to microwave it for 5 minutes on high. There we go. All right, so let's sort this all out. Get that out of the way. Don't need this anymore. Put my rubbish here in my little bowl. My gosh, that chopping board makes it so much fun to cook with. All right. So now we've got everything done here. All we have to do now is have the vegetables microwaved, and we add these 2 ingredients as well. So while that's cooking, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about mince, because I think it's such a popular ingredient for so many recipes. Look, for example, like, you know, the bolognese. Who doesn't love a good feed of bolognese? I mean, one of the top recipes of all time is my Ripper rissoles. If you haven't tried them, it's a great way to use mince. And macaroni beef, they are in the top 5 winners every time when we do a vote on favourite recipes. But if you like to spice it up a little bit, you should try my chili beef or tacos. But there's some old classics that you just can't be without, and that's the old tasty meatloaf. And I mean, my daughter Jenna, she calls it her death row dish. That's the last thing she'd ever want to eat if she was on death row, and it would be shepherd's pie out of book 2. So that's just, you know, get in there and try some things if you haven't, because it's really good to, you know, try something different for a change. Now, especially if you have leftovers too, mince is really versatile because you can put in a jaffle, or you can put it on toast. I love it over a jacket potato with a bit of salad and a bit of grated cheese. Fabulous. But look, I've got a couple of quick tips I want to share with you as well that I thought you might like because I want you to really understand the fantastic value of having mince. Because the key with my recipes is you buy the premium. Don't buy the cheapest mince, because what you're buying is a lot of fat. So when you buy premium, you're going to get a lot more mince, so you get more for your buck. So how you know it, if you're not clear, it's the mince that's the reddest, because that means it's got the less white stuff, which is the fat. And it really is good for your heart health as well. Now, I often buy it in bulk, because when it's on special, I think, why not? I like to save my dollars, like I'm sure you do. But what I do when I do that is I weigh them up into different measurements, and I'll write on the bag how much it is. So for example, if I'm making shepherd's pie, for example, it's 750 grams. This is 500. Sometimes it's 600 grams. So think of your recipes, weigh it out, put them in a freezer bag, but don't just leave it in a ball, okay? What you do with your mince is you flatten it down. So I tend to go like this with it, so it's quite thin. Close, seal, take all the air out and seal it off. I write on the date. Oh, hello. Thank you. So that's for the mince, so it's fine. I might just turn that down a little bit so it doesn't cook anymore. So flatten your mince, write on it with a label if you want, you know, like how much it weighs and the date you got it. And then what you can do with all of them, you just put them on top of each other so they take up little space in the freezer. And the other great thing is that with the being so thin, it freezes quicker. But what I love is it defrosts quicker, so that you can put it out instead of it being in this big clump, you know. And how many times have you got it and you've gone, oh no, it's still hard in the middle because it's frozen? Well, there you go. That's my hack on mince freezing. The other thing is, when you cook your mince, which I didn't show you in the beginning, can I just tell you, just to heat it up first, really hot, and slowly add the minced pieces. Don't just throw the whole lot of the mince in. Let it just cook, otherwise it'll just stew, because it drops the temperature down because the mince is cold. So like anything, when I'm doing beef or chicken or stir fry, always your protein, put it in slowly. And the other thing is I wanted to say is, you know, why not change the mince? Have some variety. Chicken mince, pork mince, turkey mince is very lean. The one I don't use a lot of is the lamb mince, because it is quite fatty. But I do have a couple of recipes, like I've got a lamb burger and that, but I don't use lamb mince a lot. But you know, you can make so many of these recipes and swap it over. If you did this with chicken mince, it'd just be a different type of bolognese, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. But look, one more tip I wanted to share with you, which I think you might appreciate if you're on a strict budget. My grandmother used to be an amazing cook, and I never cooked a lot with her, I just used to watch her. And what it is that she would make up some bolognese, for example, or a casserole or something like that, and she would put slices of bread into the mix, because it actually dissipates into the sauce and that. You don't even know it's really there, but it actually bulks up the meal. So if you're really struggling, you know, to serve however many people you need, you know, surprise visitors, and you need this to serve, you know, more, throw in some bread. But also the other thing you can do is, as like in my macaroni beef and ripperistoles, grate some zucchini or carrot. And that is another way to stretch out your meal, but also it's hiding the veggies from the kids. Now I'm going to strain this. Do you know, I think this is as old as me. Let's pour them all in. So vibrant in colour as well, which is great. There we go. And in we go to make this now. We were spaghetti bolognese, now we're beef Italian. In goes the tomatoes. So this is going to make a fantastic meal for your whole family to enjoy. It really is one of those one-pot wonders, you know, where you don't have to have really anything else with it. I do sometimes make this for visitors, because, you know, it's the family come over. All my kids love this beef Italian, and a bit of crusty bread. I've got garlic bread in one of my books if you wanted to know how to make it low fat. And I do like a salad though if you want to have it, once again, to stretch the meal more. Look at this. I mean, I'm sorry, this is fabulous. And it's only 4.8 grams of fat. Yes, I know, you're welcome. In goes the pasta. Now you could do gluten-free pasta if you have that, you know, that you need to do. And in we go. Yes, sirree, Barb. This is enough for 6, but I mean, it's probably going to be your whole meal, so it might look a lot, but I say eat. Eat yourself slim, I say. And there we go. Look at that. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Now I'm going to serve this up, and then I'm going to tell you how you can win the 2 cookbooks. That's right, I'm being very generous this year. I don't know if Bill's that happy about it, but he's the budget guy in our family, the CFO. All right, so this is enough for 6. So I'm thinking we're looking pretty good here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I think that's about it. Oh my God, dinner's done. You're welcome. Beef Italian, another great recipe on Thursdays with Annette. Now, if you want to win these 2 books, it's so easy. Hello, do you know what you've got to do? Because you do. You like, you share, very important, like and share, and then with my little splattered tomato thing, hashtag Symply Too Good. Remember the Y and the 2, hashtag Symply Too Good. Write that in the comments, and then I will pick 3 fantastic winners, and I'll personally sign your book for you. I mean, excuse me, but who knew weight loss could be so deliciously easy and healthy? Now, next week's show is one of my favourites. It's tikka chicken. It's a really fantastic Indian dish, and I'm going to show you how to make it really low fat, because Indian cooking is woeful as far as health's concerned. I'm going to make it out of the cooking for 1 or 2. It's in book 6, so you can win both those next week if I'm in a good mood. But I want to do the simple version of just 2, because I think sometimes people that are like on their own or just a couple, they tend to not think about making these recipes for themselves. And I want to show you how easy this recipe is. Serve with some rice. Mwah, fabulous. All right, now if you want any more recipes or tips, you know where to go, simplytoogood.com.au. And I'm going to catch you next Thursday with my Indian hat on, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye now.